issue of cost of living. When President Ruto was welcoming Ukraine president here in Kenya, remember the issues that Uhuru Kenyatta used to raise about what's the cost of high cost of living. Ruto still back then Ruto alikuwa anapinga sana akisema war in Ukraine cannot be an excuse of the high cost of living.
I remember.
And we see last during the visit by Romanian president, that is Klaus, he said that he repeated the same thing that Uhuru was repeating that during that time of his reign. So let's listen into that before we proceed.
Dire situation in the East Africa and in the whole region of Africa because three things have happened. Number one, commodity prices have escalated because of the war, whether you're talking about fertilizer, whether you're talking about grains, and as a result of the war, we have a serious situation of escalating prices of food items. And that has resulted in higher costs of living in our continent with very detrimental effects on populations, on people, especially those that are vulnerable. And as a result, it has led to a second thing, that we are now spending more money in supporting communities, supporting the agricultural sector. We're investing more money in subsidizing fertilizer for food production, fertilizer that is already very high in costs. And that is why, as a continent, we believe in a peaceful resolution of these issues and an early engagement to resolve the conflict is a most desired outcome for those of us from this region. It is the reason why we believe in a rules-based world. We believe in the Charter of the UN that respects the territorial integrity of countries and that believes that aggression against any country globally is aggression against all countries. And we're looking forward to an early and speedy resolution of the conflict in Ukraine, as we do in Gaza and as we do in the rest of the conflicts that we have in our own continent.
Interesting sentiments from the president. He just said that that the cost of living is as a result of the war in Ukraine. And I actually remember during his campaigns that you remember during the campaigns whereby they're saying that the handshake government, and Raila was actually being supported by the government of Uhuru to the road to presidency. And when Raila was being interviewed by different media, mainstream media, he actually brought out the issue of the war of Ukraine as one of the reasons why the food prices have gone up, the cost of living has gone up. But when Ruto was actually being asked this question, and he said this is complete nonsense. I remember that clip very well. He said this is complete nonsense. So for what I can get from that actually is that this man called President Ruto is actually very clever. He's a shrewd politician, and he knew what he was doing, and he needed to create a pathway for himself to get into the presidency so that he can actually do what he wanted to do. I think that was a strategy on his part to actually ensure that the Kenyan people discredit the government that was there then, to discredit the government. That was his strategy, to discredit the government that was there then, to paint and cast them in bad light, and to ensure that the votes are actually geared towards his manifesto, which was drawn to the people who are in the bottom of the economic pyramid,
Sure.
those who are living under $1 a day, and maybe those who are the border people, the mamamboga people, and the people who are just living from hand to mouth. And so he appealed to the common mwananchi, I could say the Wanjiko. But then again, 1 year later into his government, see the bottom up economic agenda, is it really working? I don't think that what he said commensurates with what is happening on the ground. Talk about the house levy, talk about the cost of fuel, talk about raising up the cost of IDs, raising the cost of land rates, everything iko juu, electricity iko juu, kila kitu iko juu. Was this his idea? Or maybe he had a misconception that maybe if he got into the government, then he would try and stabilize the economy the best way he knew how, only to realize that the job ahead actually needed a lot, and a lot. It was unexpected for him.
According to me, I know Ruto knew. He knew from the word go that the war in Ukraine and those international crises during the times of Uhuru Kenyatta were the one responsible maybe for the high cost of living at that time.
Exactly.
He knew very well, because for a deputy president, you can't tell people that you don't know some things in the government. Having been served, hata kama unasema you are during the second term, you are not really a deputy president, you are just a deputy president by name but not by duties. You served as a deputy president during the first term very well before the 2017 elections, and you knew very well how the government works. So I don't think that I think it's the matter. Yes, maybe Kenyans are too maybe they are not informed much about issues to do with the government, because we see if a president goes outside Kenya and the deputy president remained in Kenya, that means that the deputy president is an acting president at that duration until the president comes back. We remember even there was a time Uhuru Kenyatta left Ruto in charge, and he gave him like instruments of power for those days that he was outside Kenya, like in front of cameras, not si chini ya maji. And that time Ruto was an acting president during the reign of Uhuru Kenyatta in that short period. So you cannot tell people that you don't, like, you unajua is like let's say someone like maybe for example Wajakoya or the other person that was vying for presidency, that pastor. See, those people in some way they are not conversant with the way government runs, like in deeper the way Ruto knew, because he was in government, you understand. So I think he just knew, and then this was just a scheme of playing around na mindset ya watu that na hiyo pia playing inaitwaje hiyo huruma, nataka watu wamuone huruma venye anateswa, venye kwa naenda chacha nalia. I think hiyo ilikuwa tu pia maybe ilimsaidia kuwin huruma ya watu in some way. Hiyo watu wakachipi na wakamvotia, you understand. But now pia nitarudia tu kila siku that government is not an entertainment an entertainment firm that you run mambo na kiki. You just have to work for the people. You see, if of course people know that running a government is not easy, but try and come up na ways ya ease your burden ya watu.